You've got a track record here of every time you've met a defeat, you've picked yourself up and won the next game. So what's the atmosphere like right now?
Yeah, the atmosphere is good. I think it's not nice to lose a game. We didn't want to lose it, so there's a bit of disappointment, a little bit of anger, a bit of frustration in there after the game. But you got to look at the bigger picture as well. And football is a game of two teams, and especially this league where it's unforgiving. And certain times you can still play all right, which I thought we played, pretty well in parts. Giving them 2 goals gives you a lot to kind of chase, if you like, but I thought we played okay, and just one of them days where it didn't come off for us. So we've not been down or beat ourselves up this week. We've learned from it, and we've looked at it, and we've thought, because there'll be challenges ahead where we have to draw on different ways of playing, different ways of breaking teams down. So we've worked on that this week, and the boys are in good spirits looking ahead.
So I think you're 7 points off second, 36 points still to play for. On paper that's very doable, but if somebody offered you now and guaranteed playoff place, would you take it?
No one's going to offer me that. No one's going to offer me that. So it's not really, doesn't really matter, to be honest. It's just about winning football matches. That's why I wasn't getting too carried away a couple of weeks ago, because I understand what this league's like, and people were talking about, we were 4 points in this and that, and we were pushing for second, and then calm about it when it's going in that direction. And yeah, we've lost the game, but it's not the end of the world. It's about moving on what's next, and plenty of games, plenty of points to play for, so we look forward to the games coming up.
So Reading, very mid-table, probably not going to make the playoffs, probably safe from relegation. Do you think they've got that much to play for? Will they give you are they really up for it this weekend, do you think?
I think it's pretty disrespectful, to be honest, to say that they wouldn't be up for it. I think as a football team managed by Paul Ince, knowing him as a player and as a manager, and his teams, how they've played, I think they look like they've got a really great fighting spirit between the group, and they're a good team, well organised team, and they'll definitely pose us threats that we've got to look after. So we're not taking that lightly at all. If anything, we're really looking forward to the game, and we're really focused on the game, because we've had a bit of a setback ourselves. So we need to be at our best. We need to be in a good frame of mind, which the boys are, and we need to be, what do we need to build a performance, what do we need to be good at, and the boys are focused on that.
Have you got what they used to call squeaky bum time yet? I mean, you would accept that you on paper you'd be favourites for the game. Is the pressure starting to build, or is it still a bit too early for that?
From my end, no. I think it's just, we've got another game to play. It's as simple as that. We've got to play well. We do the things that we're good at, and things will take care of themselves. And as I say every week as I'm sitting here, looking too far ahead doesn't really get you anywhere if you've had a good result or not so good result. It's just about the next game.
Is it a matter then of keeping the faith that what you've been doing is right, or do you feel you need to make some changes as you get towards the business end of the season?
I don't think we need to make changes. Yeah, we need to improve. Of course we do. We improve whether we've won games or lost games or whatever. We still got to improve and look forward to becoming a better team. And we'll tweak things from time to time, but it's, just because it's the end of the season, it doesn't make any difference in terms of winning football matches.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
Michael, in terms of injuries, sort of maybe specifically Paddy as well, what's the situation?
Yeah, we're still waiting on Paddy, so we're not sure whether he'll be available or not. He's still got a few checks to go through in that regard. He's had a bit of work on his nose earlier in the week because it was in a bit of a state, so he's had that fixed, and we're just waiting to see the different procedures of whether he'll be available at this moment in time. I'm not sure whether he will or whether he won't, so we'll have to wait and see.
Obviously, you had your career as a player, but not that long sat in that chair. But one of the old cliches is you learn more from a defeat sometimes than you do from a victory. Are you finding that there's some truth in that?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's never nice to go through setbacks. As no one wants to go through it. We're all trying to win games, and when you don't win games, it's not really an enjoyable experience. But at the same point, it kind of sharpens you and refocuses, and goes two ways, I suppose. You get the extra motivation and wanting to do better, or you kind of feel sorry for yourself. And go the other way. And certainly the boys from they came back in on Tuesday have been right at it and motivated and want to improve, and it's a great sign.
It hasn't happened often, but how easy or difficult have you found it, that thing in an ultra competitive division like this, that the sort of feeling occasionally you have to kind of absorb a defeat now and again, and is it sort of emotionally easy or hard to do?
It's definitely not accepting it. You've got to be realistic and you understand what football is. Two teams, you know, you're going away from home against a really good team, well organised, that we kind of I wouldn't say give them goals, but you know, goals that we really thought we could avoid, and so we put ourselves in a bit of a tougher situation that we should have. But that is football, and you've got to be realistic, and the boys have done well, and so there's a bit of calmness about it in terms of trust and what we've achieved together already, but at the same point of learning and being better, because we need to improve on certain things. But we've worked on that this week, and the boys are in good place.
So Reading at Sunderland a few weeks ago, and to put it politely, they made it hard for the home team. They tried to take a bit of time out of the game, that sort of thing. If they did something similar, how hard are those sort of games when teams come and look to sort of just mess things up rather in the game?
They're a good team, you know, they're well organised, they know where their strengths lie, and they know how to use them. You know, so you've got to respect that, you've got to know what we're up against. They're not going to come and lie down and make it easy for us, as no team will. West Brom didn't last week, you know, they were stubborn and with the shape and the defending. QPR for a good spell, and before that, you know, we had to break them down and find a way and have patience and belief, and that's part of the game, finding the spaces, finding that little chink and trying to exploit it. So they've got to come here to do what they can to get the result they want, and we certainly have to do the same.
Thank you.
When you mentioned that, Michael, I know you mentioned earlier as well, taking, you know, things out this week from West Brom and looking to find different ways to score. Is that kind of an appreciation that, you know, teams might start to kind of work things out, and have you got to be kind of almost flexible and evolving all the time in that regard?
Yeah, you've got to adapt, yeah, of course, that's part of the game, you know. We do it ourselves, we look at teams and see where their strengths are, where they've been creating chances from, where they've been scoring goals and key players, and that's just natural, and we've spoken about that. As I said, I don't think we were bad last week by any stretch. I thought we actually played some really good football. It just didn't quite fall for us in moments in the box, and it wasn't that we struggled and we were really poor. So we're not coming from a bad position to have to improve anyway. It's just we're always looking to improve and kind of get ahead of the game, and how can we be better? How can we create and score goals from different areas in different ways? You know, the more strings to the ball you have, the better. And of course, when you don't win and when you don't score, then it kind of sharpens the focus a little bit. But at the same point, we're kind of, you know, we're composed in the fact that we're not chasing something that we don't need to chase.
Yeah. And Reading yesterday reports that could be in a bit of trouble with the AFL, potential 6-point deduction. In terms of things like that, do you think, you know, those kind of things, off-field issues, will have any impact on the players, the Reading players at all?
It's difficult. I don't know. I'll be honest, I don't know exactly the situation for them. I can just assume that they'll use whatever they've gone through as motivation, really. And as I said before, they're a good group of players, well organised, and you can see they've got a real spirit amongst them, and I think they've talked about that over a period of time. So for our point of view, the answer is I don't know. We're expecting the best version of them, and we'll be prepared for that.
Have you had it at all? Did you have it at all in your playing career where there was maybe, you know, a bit of off-field uncertainty? You know,
plenty of time.
Yeah. What was it like in the dressing room around those times?
I'll be honest, it depends what it is and depends what dressing room you've got. But most of the time, the boys are so focused on playing and the performance and training, and there's enough responsibility in trying to perform yourself that, for me, that takes most of the focus and concentration.
Yeah. Just on injuries, a couple of lads who have been out for a couple of weeks, just okay for updates on them, the likes of Rodrigo, Amth and Matt Clark as well?
Yeah, Clarky again, it's not really an update, a little bit longer. not really any closer to being back. I'm been fit now for a good few weeks, so he's fit, and Rodrigo's been back training up for a couple of weeks, so he's getting back after his spell out. So Anthony and Rodrigo are both fit.
Yeah, and I guess that's just the difficulty of the strength of the squad we've got, as we've spoken about many a times. Two lads there who in recent weeks have been fit but haven't been making the bench. That's just speaks numbers of the the strength you've got.
Yeah, that's football. Is what we want all the lads to be involved. We want, of course, we'd love to get everyone on the pitch. It's just getting the right balance of the squad, getting the right balance of the bench, and keeping the boys ready. For when they're ready to step in, and the boys have trained fantastically well, and that it kind of is what it is.
Just finally from me, we discussed some contracts last week, and there was some reports this week about a potential longer term contract for Chuba Akpom. I don't know if there's anything. Is there anything in that? Can you
Didn't
tell
see them reports. Not your report.
It wasn't my report. Can you tell us anything on it?
From me sitting here now, no. Listen, he's obviously doing great for us, and it's something we're looking at between now and the end of the season of contracts for players and moving ahead into the summer and next season. So individually, I haven't got any updates at this stage to give you.
Yeah, I mean, we speak about him a lot. He's done so well, and you run out of kind of positive things you can see about him. But presumably, you would hope that he does commit long term to the club.
Yeah, he's done great. He's done great. I think he's say us every week. I'm sitting here talking about him, and for good reasons. He's got a big part to play between now and the end of the season, and we're looking forward to seeing the best of him between now and then.
Do you have that conversation with him? I appreciate it's almost a club thing, isn't it? Not just you involved in those negotiations, but as head coach to play, do you have those conversations at all?
It depends, yeah. It depends. I have a lot of conversations, different ways. Plenty of things that we got to sort out and organise and be ready for games. So, as and when, we'll get things sorted.
Just on the back of that with Chuba, he's one away from 20 league goals. Bernie Slaven was the last to do that. And when you think of all of, some of the top class Borough strikers Borough have had since then, it says everything really, doesn't it, about his achievements this year. He's going to reach that tally, isn't he?
I certainly hope so. Yeah, it's never nothing's a given in football, but I certainly hope so. I mean, what can I say? He's been fantastic. He's been a massive part of what we've done. He's been a huge threat for us. And yeah, let's hope it continues. There's no reason why not. He's in good shape, he's fit, he's strong, he's in a good place mentally, and we're looking forward to, as I said, seeing the best of him still.
Early in the season, although he's obviously not a young player, he was probably something of an unknown quantity, just given the fact that he hadn't been playing last season and stuff. Whereas I guess recently he's probably had a bit of a target on his head with him being the top scorer. But to keep scoring, to maintain that form, what does that say about him? Yeah,
it's something we spoke about. It's when you're doing well, whether it's a team or individually, and you do attract attention, extra attention, and you got to adapt and find different ways of being able to perform. Whether, as I said, whether that's a team. Last week when we need to find ways of breaking a team down, whether that's individual, where they block certain spaces that you're used to getting, maybe. That's the challenge. It's a brilliant challenge. It means you've been doing things really well and you're coming from a good place, so it's just adapting and being creative and being positive, and Chuba's bright enough and clever enough and football intelligent enough to find ways.
Just on the squad depth there and Paddy, I guess he's, whether he's available this weekend or not, he's the perfect example to the other lads who may be on the bench or not in the squad at the minute, that if they get the chance and take it, they'll stay in, because he had to wait a fair old time, didn't he? But when he got in, played well and stayed in at Dale's expense. Yeah,
that's the game, and I remember talking to you about Paddy, what was it now, 3 months at least ago, saying that, and from my point of view, all the players can do is be ready. You've got to be ready. You've got to keep yourself ready, so when that chance comes, you've got to be able to take it, and Paddy's done that, fantastically well, and as tough as it is, it's not an easy one all the time to when you think you're not involved or you haven't played for a couple of weeks, to keep yourself in tip-top shape and focused and motivated, and but that's the game, that is the game of being part of a good squad, and competition for places is good. I think it's healthy. Keeps everyone on the toes and pushing them for performance levels, and you've got to be ready when you get your chance.
Whoever plays centre half at the weekend, how do you prepare for a unique challenge that Andy Carroll poses?
Yeah, he was obviously very good. Andy, what he does, played centre half against him myself. Yeah, when he was at West Ham, don't think I won a header, but I didn't win many headers anyway. But I think, he's very good at what he does, and certain parts of the pitch where he's a real threat. It's about us trying to nullify that, and there's different ways of doing that. Trying to obviously stop the service for him for one, trying to keep him away from certain places on the pitch, and he's as I said, he's very good at what he does. You got to respect that and the play to his strengths as well as a team. So that's the challenge. It's a good challenge for us, and it's just one from week to week where you've got to adapt and be flexible and being able to deal with it.
What was he like to play against?
Good player, to be honest. It's not just about in the air and flick-ons and powerful headers. He's very good at bringing the ball down, bringing other people into play. I think he's probably underrated in that regard in terms of bringing it down on his chest and bringing the ball back onto the ground and bringing people in, and then of course in and around the box, and his threats of headers is everyone's well aware of it. So for me it was a challenge, being a midfielder for sure.
That first-hand experience will come in useful this week, has it, when you're talking to the lads who play in defence?
Yeah, listen, them boys as well, they've got a lot of experience between them, for sure. We're there to help and guide and give bits of advice, but the boys are savvy enough, and they've been around enough to understand the different challenges and what they've got to do. So they'll be looking forward to it.